if money wasn't a thing and if time wasn't a thing, you could come in every day. There's no such thing as too much care.
Yeah.
There absolutely is such a thing as not enough care. Welcome to Motherhood, Aligned and Assigned, where we help guide mothers from symptoms to solutions.
We're Dr. Serena and Dr. Veronica Schultz, nervous system specialists helping families discover the missing link in their wellness journey.
Join us as we translate complex health challenges into simple, actionable solutions for you and your children.
Because your family deserves to thrive,
not just survive.
Let's chat about when to start your care plan. Dr. Veronica and I have differing opinions, but also because the kiddos we've been taking care of recently have different needs.
Right.
So, talking about, do we start a care plan during the summer? Or do we start once the school year starts? Mm-hmm. We have some, it depends.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like your nervous system is unique to you and your needs are unique to you. And so we have to tailor that to you.
I was just working on training. You don't realize how custom the care plan is until you have another set of eyes looking at what you're doing. And we were going through I know this is a little bit of tangent, but we're going through all of the patients because we're updating some things in the back end. And I was like, this is how it is in our office. And then I'd be like, well, except for that family. And then I forgot that we actually were doing this over here. She was like, do you do anything the same for anyone? And I was like,
yeah. I've been liking this concept of creating SOPs, standard operating procedures for my office. It's like, there's no standard.
No. I know. My
detail-oriented, tenacity-driven CA is going crazy.
Yeah.
But look.
Hear me out.
This is why you're here. This is why you're here.
That's what I just told Kelly. I'm like, this is why you started. So one day, someday, we will have a process, but just know.
There is a process to creating your care plans, but everyone is so unique.
Yeah.
And their needs are unique.
And how often
their schedules are unique.
And, I was going to say.
So
we do our best to work with many
different
lifestyles, many different scenarios. Yeah, all the things.
Yeah.
But today we wanted to talk about this at the beginning of the summer. I had a bunch of moms who were like, do I start in the middle of summer where we're traveling, our schedule looks way different, all the things, or do I start when school starts, when our schedule changes and we're busy and we have sports and we have all the things? I think that starting in the summer is always a better bet. I think just the flexibility that you have in your schedule is always better. But I do preface, I would say it's better to get a little bit more intense in the summer than compared to, in the school year. But I will say I have noticed, just even the last year, there will be a hiccup when school starts because we've been working on a completely different neural pathway than the one your kid is going to use for school. But the momentum we build over the summer is going to help them with that transition a lot faster, in my opinion. So that's what I recommend to my patients.
On my end of things, I agree. Being able to do in more intense care plans and really have a running head start on unwinding tension before the school year starts has been very helpful. But I have one kiddo, because things are just more flexible. You can come at 10 a.m. Right. Instead of trying to fit a 10-minute adjustment and a 15-minute drive in between after school and soccer.
Right.
That kind of stuff. Mm. Or getting your kids here over their lunch break or before school, all of these things. But I have noticed that a lot of kiddos who are needing chiropractic care for emotional regulation and sensory processing, they're more overwhelmed and struggle more during the summer because of the lack of structure. Mm. And so I have one kiddo. I don't know. The mom's like, okay, I'm trusting the process. And she's talking to friends, other moms whose families are under care at the practice, who they're friends with. And she's asking, when am I going to see, the big change? Because this is, I'm still trusting the process and we're almost done with the process. And it's been tough because he struggles the most in the summer with the lack of routine. And then they go on vacation for a week and then they're back for a week and then they go do this for a week. And then he's changing, what is expected of him is kind of changing all the time. And so they've seen progress, but I selfishly, maybe it's selfish that I wish he would have started during the school year when we just had less variables for him. And then we have more consistent feedback too from teachers. Because that's usually, I feel like in a care plan, especially in the beginning, actually through the whole thing, people who are outside of the family are the ones who are commenting on the progress and encouraging the parents.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
So it's teachers and TAs and after school soccer coaches, the things that they're doing consistently, these people who see them once a week, especially, or teachers who see them in like short spurts. Those are the ones sending emails to moms saying, whatever you're doing, I've seen this huge improvement in such and so and so. And so for me to get that feedback during the school year is like, oh, yes, yay. Because then mom can be like, okay, so home isn't looking great yet, but school is looking great, right? And that's usually where they're going to see the progress is and they're going to fall apart at home longer, where they're safe and are allowed to fall apart. Mm-hmm. And I haven't gotten that with this care plan, where like I am getting feedback from his friends and family friends, like, oh yeah, I have been seeing improvements there. And then my son noted this and they were playing with them and like that was better. He's not noticing this behavior anymore. But mom is like, it's been about the same.
Yeah. So, and I also think, I mean, especially, it's probably the case with one kid, but especially with multiple kids, it's hard to pick up on those nuances of like, oh, we didn't have a meltdown this time. You know what I mean? Like, life just moves so fast paced that moms are the first to be like, nothing's changing, even though it's like, well, you're always changing. And so it's hard to see the little shifts of going to the bathroom more often, especially if they're going, you know, without help anymore and things like that. So it's to have someone who is keeping an eye on those more nuances outside of the family. And that makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
And with the kids who really thrive with routine, it's almost like, well, I don't know. I'm glad, because just looking at his insight scans, like we have removed so much stress and tension, noise from his body. Like we've come really far, and I'm still like getting really big adjustments. And we're almost done with the care plan. To me, that tells me like we're still releasing a lot of stress and tension and noise from his body. And I'm so glad. I'm hoping that, okay, we've primed his whole system and he's going to jump into the school year and people are going to be like, wow, this is great. Or he's going to feel like he can jump into routine and just take off rather than finding another transition. Right. That's my hope. So
and I also I talk to my patients a lot about just how you use different neural pathways for different things. And so like, you know, I have a patient almost always, if they're going to go on a flight or something, it's like, oh, I'm back to where I started. We could be 1 month into care. We could be 3 months into care. We'd be almost done with the care plan. And something like that is going to make someone feel like they've slid all the way backwards because your brain is using a completely different pathway than it would have used for everyday things, right? Think about habits. Your brain has a pathway of like, okay, every morning I do this, and all the way through the end of the day. So when you change that, we're actually working on a different neural pathway and repairing and restoring the connections to that specific, you know, environment. And so I see the benefit of both, honestly. You know, for me in the office right now, a lot of the kiddos are enjoying summer and loving it. And so it's like, I almost am a little bit nervous because I don't know exactly how much progress we've made because there's no progress to compare it against, you know, for that pathway headed to school. I'll be very, like, I almost feel like what we're going to see is unexpected versus like the kid who does struggle. I actually prefer to work with patients during some of their hardest times and transitions because it's like you're working on the strongest, most apparent pathway that there is. And if you can improve that, then for sure everything else is going to get easier, right? Versus like we're kind of reverse engineering right now in the summer of like, okay, I'm working on your most calmest pathway.
Yeah, and this kid's his biggest trigger are his siblings' quirks. And he's around his siblings so much right now.
Yeah. And I would say, same with some of my kiddos that are working. It's like the sibling rivalry is like, I actually get to see them both. So that is fun. But yeah.
I have 2 brothers that come in. This is a little off topic, but we're talking about chiropractic, so whatever. So 2 brothers that come in together. And like on the way there, mom was like, they're just not getting along today. And I adjust them both. And they both have attitude adjustments every time. Like mom's like, and these are teenage boys, okay? She's
wow.
Yeah. It's like, they're happier. And then they're like cuddling on the couch.
Yeah, right. They actually
while I'm adjusting mom. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's like one of my favorite parts about chiropractic is seeing those like shifts, walking in versus walking out. It's just so funny. But yeah, so I would say for the intensity and the intention of care, summer is better. But for me and my patients,
it's easier for parents and families.
Yeah, easier but I think that's half the battle, right? Is, I don't know, I feel like in the school year there's always this like, oh, we forgot this, or we overbooked ourselves here, or now you just see the parents come in sometimes after school and they just look like they've been run over by a bus, and you're like, you're getting on the schedule too, right? Because
I feel like people really overextend themselves here in the summer. That's part of it too. Like, there's so much to do here. There are probably 50 camps going on in the valley right now.
Wow.
Of like so many different things you could be doing.
Yeah.
People leave the valley to go up into the mountains where it's like 30 degrees cooler for a week, and like, so
that makes
people
sense.
are so active here. They're still just like, they're keeping their kids just as busy.
Yeah, that makes sense. And see, I feel like here it's like everyone, there's like vacations here and there, but for the most part, and there's like camps during the day, you know, they still go somewhere while their parents work, but it's pretty low key, I feel like, here in the summer. So that probably makes a big difference too.
Yeah, people are like moving and grooving a ton here. Yeah, especially once they have teenagers.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But yeah, people will go up to the mountains for weeks at a time.
That's amazing.
Good for them.
Right.
I'll be waiting to adjust you when you get back.
So there's really no conclusion. It's like, it depends on where you are, depends on how, depends on, and your family dynamic and what you've got going on, right? Like, I mean, if you're truly traveling 2 to 3 weeks at a time the entire summer, then obviously let's wait till you start in the fall. But from a neurological perspective, I think the more repetition you can get, even if you are working on a pathway that's not as stressed out, the better, in my opinion. And if I can see you, 5 times for 2 weeks in the summer compared to 2 or 3 times during the fall, I would say that is going to go so much better for you in terms of transition when you get back. Because it's more, we have these care plans, but really, like, if money wasn't a thing and if time wasn't a thing, you could come in every day, right? Like, for as long as until you're feeling so much better. But we have these care plans in this process to make it, attainable to people, and to have this like pathway of like, okay, what is the least amount of care we can give? We get the most amount of results as quickly as possible, right? If you're not coming in, sometimes I adjust my kids every day if I need to, right? Because there's no such thing as too much care. Yeah, but there absolutely is such a thing as not enough care, and that's why I like some.
Yeah, because here's what makes us a little different. Because there's a lot of chiropractors who are like, "Oh, you adjusting every day, you're going to over adjust and then create hypermobility, blah blah blah." Like, we're not adjusting the same segment every day. Right? We might adjust the same segment a few times in a row because we're trying to clear this pattern that you're stuck in, but our goal is to clear that pattern and not have to adjust that again. That's our goal. Like, you don't come in and like, we give you a card and like, this is your listing, this is what I will adjust for the rest of your life.
Right.
So we're not adjusting the same thing. If you come in for an intensive, it's not the same thing.
More than like 2 or 3 times in a row.
Right. If we're doing that, I'm like, okay, I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
I need to figure out how to clear this by pairing this adjustment with another segment.
Right.
So there's not this, forget about this, like, I'm not blowing up C5 5 days in a row.
Right.
Yeah. So I've had some objections to that. Like, you can't do that. You're going to create hypermobility. It's like, no, this isn't your Rackham and Crackham standard chiropractor. This is like very specific. Yeah. This is gentle and specific and goal oriented on removing those patterns, so we don't have to keep adjusting them.
So with that said, whether you're starting in the summer or the fall, there's really not a bad time to start care. Just like we said, it's just a matter of what's going to work best for your family and how often
choose your heart.
Get into right. How often can you get into the office?
Yeah, and it's probably more often than you think.
Yeah.
This isn't like an hour-long situation. You're going to be in my office for 10 minutes.
Right.
But you might be here more because you want to stay and read books and play with toys.
we do have families that come a little earlier so they can have a little more playtime.
yeah, which is great.
Yeah, we love that.
And we have families that hang out because they could play too.
Yeah, we don't have enough room for that in our office, but one day.
next office, you should do that.
Yeah,
It's
for
good.
sure. Oh wait, I want a coffee shop in the next one. But anyways. Okay, thanks for coming.
All right. Thank you for joining us on Motherhood Aligned and Assigned.
We hope today's episode helped you connect the dots in your family's health journey.
Remember, this is where nervous system health meets motherhood wisdom.
Until next time, we're Dr. Veronica Schiltz.
And Dr. Serena Kaufman, supporting you as you nurture your family's well-being.
Because when you're aligned, everyone thrives.